It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's time! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner.
Right there, hold on, right there. Boom, I faked him. Oh, whoa, that was, whoa. I'm back.
But Mama Babo, how you say his name?
I'm going to go home tonight. I'm going to drink a Coors Light.
Fighting out of the red corner.
I completely dominated that fifth round. That fifth round want me to fight.
From the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
It's time!
The number one MMA show in America. Caged in MMA.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Caged in MMA. As you guys know, I'm your host, Errol Marks, my co-host, Anthony Anderosi. Remember, you can call us at 631-965-4990. And remember, you can follow us on all our social medias. How do you do that? You go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. And now, ladies and gentlemen, you can download our app. How do you do that? You go to WWSRN on the iOS, or you can go on Android and find us at Worldwide Sports Radio Network and download the app. It is free. You can read all our stories. You can listen to our shows live. You can listen to the clips of all our shows and listen to the replays of our shows and listen to the shows live on the audio files on our app. So definitely check that out if you haven't checked it out yet. If you guys haven't downloaded it, please download it. Again, it's on iOS and Android. What's going on, Anthony?
What's going on, buddy?
I am very tired. I want to say something, and I understand people are in a rush or they want to get out of their houses, and they've been trapped in their homes because of the COVID-19. But if you're going to get on the road and you're going to cause accidents or you're going to cause traffic, please, if you're going to do that, do it in a way where it's respectable to people. And I just don't think the drivers here in Long Island are really respectful for anybody. Even the responders, the firefighters, and some of the EMS people that are trying to get places. They're trying to save people and help people. And people are on the roads blocking people and causing traffic. So if you're doing that, please stay off the road. We have other things going on right now in the world. And I understand you guys want to go shopping. You want to go on your little drives to out east because you have nothing else better to do and you're bored. Stay home. If you're not going to do something that's going to help people, stay home.
But it's a beautiful day out, man.
No, it's a beautiful day out.
Beautiful day out. Don't you know that you can't get sick when it's a beautiful day out?
Oh, yeah.
Come on, man.
You can't get sick.
No.
Are you kidding me? Well, tell that to the hospital I work at. Seriously. I mean...
Listen, I don't mean to make jokes. But
it's upsetting to me.
You know damn
well. It really
well,
is. It's really upsetting to me.
Listen, I drive, you drive, you know what I mean? That's basically the majority of our work. But you know as well as I do because we see it all the time. It's that comical how common sense is not common anymore. Mm. And it's, the minute the sun comes out, it's 4th of July weekend.
They're not even working. So why are they out on the road? Where are you going? There's nowhere to go.
Toilet paper?
Toilet paper? I mean, seriously. You can't even get toilet paper or hand sanitizer. So what are they looking for?
I don't know, man.
What, are they going to hang out at Walmart all day or Target?
You're not used to it by now? You're getting so upset. It's going to happen.
It annoys me because I'm trying to get somewhere. I'm trying to get places because I am a first responder, and I have to deal with idiots on the road that are causing accidents. I see accidents all the time for the last couple of days. Why are they on the road? And I don't know what anybody doesn't get. Social distance. That's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get rid of COVID-19, not make it worse. 18,000 people here in New York have died from COVID-19. Why are you out in the public, not wearing masks, not wearing gloves, and causing more outbreak for us to deal with, all us first responders? It's ridiculous, and to me, I am just Fed up with it. Absolutely fed up with it. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Anyways, you wanted to get into UFC 249, so go right ahead.
Okay. UFC 249 next week. As we all know, it was once dubbed, well, I'm sorry, it was 249. Then it went to 250. Now it's back to calling it 249. And supposedly it's the greatest fight card in the history of fight cards. But even better, breaking news, even though this was announced, I guess it's official now, March 13th, there's going to be a fight night in Jacksonville, Florida. Mm-hmm. And then 3 days later, surprise, surprise, they're going to have another fight night.
Right.
So they're really trying, as we've had people call in on the show, and we've said it about saturating everything. And the minute they have a little bit of leeway now, what happens? Mm-hmm. Let's saturate it right off the bat. We're talking about not even a week, and you're going to have 3 fights, 3 events. Not even a week goes by.
Right.
And normally I would be saying, okay, let's go through the fight card and let's check this out and everything. And we'll look at some of the things eventually. Why am I not saying it right now? Because who the hell really thinks this is going to happen? We got a week before. This is basically going to be thumbs up or thumbs down. So whoever at Disney is going to say we're going to do this or not, they still have a week to go. And as we all know, if they are planning on going someplace, usually you have a week ahead of time to go sit there, do whatever you have to do, your press conferences, even if you have to Zoom the press conferences, whatever. Nobody's made any movement. The fight is supposed to be a week from today. The 249 and nothing.
Anthony, here's the problem with the UFC.
I know.
This is the problem with the UFC. They're trying to find a way to make a buck. This is what Dana White has been trying to do for the last couple of months. He wants to be the first organization to get a sports event going while this is going on. And I understand he's losing money and the UFC is losing money and they're trying to build their product, especially what's going on with COVID-19. And they know that if they get this product on TV or pay-per-view, they're going to sell because everybody wants to watch sports. That's what they want to do. They want to be connected to what's going on in sports. And you saw with the NFL, with the virtual NFL, it was one of the highest watched sports shows or sports events in NFL history.
55 million, I think it was.
In NFL history. Because everybody can't wait until sports come back. You heard it on, if you guys don't listen to some of the stuff that people are interviewing athletes, they're interviewing even musicians. Eminem was on a show, Shade 45 the other day, and he says, I can't stay, I'm going crazy. I'm going stir crazy because I'm sitting home and I can't watch sports on TV. He says, I have never been in this situation in my life where I'm sitting in front of my 75-inch screen TV and I can't be connected for the one thing that I love to do, and that's watch sports.
Well, Chris Brown, one of our listeners, is telling us that NASCAR is trying to pull the same bull, Herd trying to say the same cram. It's saying next week they're going to be doing the same thing with NASCAR now. Everybody's trying to get something out there. Everybody wants to be the first. How about not being the first? How about being the best? Everybody wants to be the first. So
how is the UFC going to be the best when the UFC has always trying to find a way to sneak attack with the industry right now? And I'll tell you this right now, it's going to be canceled. It is going to be canceled.
That's why they give you 3 dates, because they're trying to go with the idea of, let's see how many. We're going to put 3 shots out there. Which one of the 3 are going to go?
It's already come out. Donald Trump already said that the schools are completely closed for the rest of the year, for the rest of all the way till September.
The school year.
Yeah, the school year. So they're closing all the schools. There's no way school is coming back. And whatever you need to finish, if you're a senior in high school, you're probably not going to have a prom. I don't know. I feel bad for the seniors. Some of these kids that can't wait until their prom. They're not going to have a prom. And really, they're going to go from 12th grade and try to get through school and summer school. What are they going to do with summer school? There's no summer school. Are they going to do summer school online? I understand the UFC is trying to build their product. They're trying to drive this product, a product that right now is washed up and it's not good. It's not a good product. So they're trying to put it on the map. And right now, Dana White is trying to push this forward with Disney. I beg to differ. I think Dana White needs to step back for a little while and let this thing cool down. That's what I think he needs to do. But he's not. It's all about money for Dana White. It's all about the industry right now and the UFC and trying to be the first sport to have events. And to me, that's not going to sell to the fan. It's not going to sell that's not going to sell the product when a product is washed up. Anyways, we have a first caller of the day. What's going on, Jeff?
Man, you guys are a killjoy today. Just a killjoy. Let us all think that we're going to have UFC fighting.
What was your question? What was your question?
A killjoy about what?
No, I'm saying you guys are we're taking all the joy out of life. Let us at least,
taking all the joy out of life?
Let us at least believe we could have UFC fighting.
Okay, Jeff. Right? Okay, now let's go down that road, and I'll give you that. Yeah, these things sound like a wonderful, great little bit of hope that we're getting.
There's no hope.
But here's the thing.
I'm so sick and tired of
in all fairness,
the UFC.
No, but in
Dana
all fairness, let's just look at how many times now has Dana White, as I've said before, given empty promises.
Every day.
I said, it was
he's got a video on Google every single day.
No, but there was
the guy just loves himself.
A month ago it was 249. Then 249 got postponed. It was supposed to be 250. Then 250 gets pushed back. No, we're not canceling. We're pushing it back to postponing it. Now it's 249 again, and it's May. It's next week. It's May 7th.
It's not happening.
So, but in a lot of states, and I'm sure it's the same thing down. Now, he's doing this down in Jacksonville. He's doing this down in Florida. How far are you from Jacksonville, Jeff?
Just so you know, everything opens up here on Monday.
Everything, or are they doing it gradually, like these phases that we hear about?
No, well, I mean, I guess you can kind of say phases, but everything opens on Monday except for, I guess the real major changes, like bars and restaurants, can only be like 50% capacity or something.
Well, I will say this, and I understand people want their businesses open. I know you don't live up here, but on Channel 12 News, you see all the people, all these owners over here in Comac, they want their businesses open. So they're having these rallies. They're not wearing masks. They're not keeping social distancing. They don't give a crap because they think this is a joke. That's what they think. Even though there's 18,000 people that have died here in New York State in the past 2.5 months. This isn't a joke. I used to think this was a joke. And I work at a hospital, and there's 397 people right now with COVID-19 sitting in a bed, and half of them are probably going to die. This is not a joke. And the UFC has been pushing this and pushing this and pushing this. Here's what you should have been pushing from day one. If you wanted to have UFC 249, you shouldn't have let Khabib go home. You shouldn't have. Because this product that you're trying to put out on UFC 249 on May 9th is garbage. It's garbage. So what are you promoting here? Garbage? But you've been promoting garbage for the last couple of years. So this is what annoys me about Dana White. I understand you want to be the first, and you want to be the second, you want to be the third, and you think Disney's going to approve this because you're going to bring in money and you're going to bring in revenue for them. Disney is a multi-billion-dollar organization. They're a multi-billion-dollar organization. Is Disneyland open right now? Is Disney World open right now? It isn't. They're losing money. So if they're not open, why do you think they're going to allow the UFC to open up? Because Dana White is speaking?
Can I just mention this, though, Errol, right? Because I agree with you, right? Like, in everything that you just said, completely, wholeheartedly agree. But if you're paying attention, Disney is definitely the one that's pushing the envelope because they are losing money. Because if anyone's been paying attention, the NBA has now all of a sudden switched from Vegas to all being in Orlando at Disney World.
And that's fine.
So
that's fine.
But no. But I'm saying Disney seems to be on the forefront of all of these things, trying to push them all forward. Obviously, because they're losing money and they want to make some more money. And that's why I think that this one actually probably does have a chance, at least a chance of happening.
What's funny about it is with the deal that Disney has with the UFC has to get the money in terms of distribution and everything from the Disney company. The UFC has to put together a product. They have to bring something out. It's no different than sometimes with the pay-per-view distributors. You have to put up a pay-per-view to get the money from the last pay-per-view type situation. Pretty similar with the UFC, with the way and the deal that they have now. So if there's no show, They don't get any checks from Disney. So they could stop just by saying, forget it, you're not having this. And as he said, what was it? The higher ups?
Yeah, the higher ups.
Asked me. No, they told you it wasn't happening. So ultimately, by them shutting it down, they went and said, it's not, that's it. We're not paying you. So they're actually saving money by the UFC not happening. Because then they don't have to, for whatever reason.
They don't have to go into their pockets.
Go into their pockets or whatever. Now, I don't know if there's any guarantees or whatever. Of course, they don't show those little details or any loopholes and stuff to the public. But now, do I think one of these fights happen? Possibly.
One of these cards, you mean? One of these cards, because people think
I'm sorry
fights.
when I say fight, exactly.
Yeah.
But you want to know something? In some cases, if they did these fights or these events, similar to a boxing event, where it's a smaller undercard,
right?
It doesn't have to. Not everything while this is going on. Sometimes less is more. You don't have to worry about 15 fights when it's something like this going on. Because sometimes when you give back a little bit, and like our caller Chris is saying, Vince McMahon's having the same problem because he went free. He went with the free idea, no show, no people coming in and everything, and no attendance or whatever.
Yeah, how did that go? How did WrestleMania go?
He went to the well one too many times, I think, is what happened. He didn't spread it out. Now with the UFC, if they haven't even they tried it once with the fight in Brazil. That free fight in Brazil, right before they shut everything down, and it actually was not that bad of a fight card. It really wasn't. Now, he's trying to go again with a pay-per-view in this case. Well, even if you wanted to make it a pay-per-view, people are so starved for sports. You could actually get a smaller card, no undercard, just make it the main card, the 5 fights. And I guarantee you, if you lower the cost, something's better than nothing. Something is better than nothing.
Are you looking at the card right now? Look at the
card.
That's
what I'm saying. But you see,
Jeremy Stevens, who hasn't fought.
Here's the thing.
Hasn't fought in years. Jeremy Stevens, the same Jeremy Stevens that was in the UFC for years. I think he's been in the UFC for 9 years. He's all of a sudden on a card. Nobody gives a crap about Jeremy Stevens anymore.
That's what I'm saying. Like this fight card right here. If you just took these 5 main fights, the Ferguson Justin, I can't say it without laughing. The Ferguson Justin Gaethje fight, and then the which is Henry Cejudo, Dominic Cruz. Dominic Cruz hasn't fought in
3 years.
The last time he fought, Ronda fought
3 years ago.
Thank you. And we're not talking about WWE, everybody. We're talking about actually fighting.
This is what they're selling, ladies and gentlemen. This is what they're selling. This is what the UFC is trying to sell to the public. Good luck.
And
good luck.
And the only credible fight that I say, and I've been saying it because they keep promoting it, and this is, other than the Ferguson fight, this fight is the only other one that has not changed. It's the Francis Ngannou versus Rosenstrenk. Number 2 versus number 6 in their ranking system, and then somebody gets a fight at Stipe. That's a credible fight, in my opinion.
So why isn't that the main event or the second to the main event?
No, of course not, because you have to put the names out there.
Oh, yes, the names. Dominic Cruz, yes, 3 years ago.
Dominic Cruz.
3 years ago. That's why he's an analyst. That's why he's an analyst. And all of a sudden, he's getting off his fat ass to get into the octagon and lose, because that's what it's going to happen. I hope Cruz wins, because to me, Henry Cejudo is not, to me, a welcoming champion. To me, he never beat Johnson, and Johnson is still the champion. That's my opinion. And Henry Cejudo has not beaten anybody in my eyes. So again, I understand what you're saying, Jeff. You're absolutely right. Disney wants to make money. Disney is also trying to get out of this situation. But I also think Disney is looking at the big picture here, and they see what's going on in the world. They do. They see what's going on in the world. And there are many, many people dying from this disease, this virus. I call it a disease because diseases kill a lot of people. Viruses usually don't. And there's over 300,000 people that have died from this virus. And it's adding every single day. What was it? In the month of April, 289 people died here in New York. 289 people. But you know what? The UFC wants to put on a card. They want to sell this to the public eye because they want to be the first sports organization to get their product out there. You know why? Because Dana White don't give a crap about you, me, or anybody else. All he cares about is the money in his pocket.
In in fairness, if you want to be fair, which maybe you don't, right? He's not holding these events in places where the outbreak is massive. Are there cases everywhere? Sure. But Jacksonville isn't exactly the hotbed for this virus that New York City or Rhode Island or Massachusetts or some of these of Philadelphia, some of these other places are. The virus is hitting harder there, much harder there than it is here.
And that's fine, Jeff. And that's not my argument here of what the virus is in Florida or in any of the hot climates, especially Arizona. That's why baseball wants to have the Cactus and Grapefruit League and completely have their baseball season in Arizona and Florida. Is that going to sell to the public? Is that going to sell to New York fans watching their team play in Arizona or Florida? No. Here's what they should be doing. And I've said this over and over again. If you want to bring back sports quicker, this is what you do. You have to have a crowd. You create a social distance area where if a stadium holds 75,000 people, well, which we don't know, only football stadiums, but 50,000 people, it can only hold 30 or 28,000, where there's only going to be a limited amount of seats. That's what they should be doing. And if you're going to go up and buy hot dogs or you're going to go to the bathroom, you have to have lines. You have to have social distance lines. And if baseball isn't going to do that, then they shouldn't be bringing baseball back. And the UFC, I don't care what Dana White is doing. He wants to put it on an island. He wants to have the event in the house. I don't give a crap, because the truth is it's not the same thing if you're not doing it in front of a live audience. It doesn't pump the fighters up. And you want to know something? Putting out a product like this doesn't sell to me, who's a UFC fan. It doesn't sell to me. Why isn't boxing doing this then? Because the boxing and the WBA are looking at this and they're laughing at the UFC. They are so desperate right now. Mixed martial arts in the UFC is so desperate right now. They are going to do anything to get this card out there. And to me, it's ridiculous. And it's not going to sell, in my eyes, after this, it will sell for this first card. After this card, nobody's going to give a crap. Nobody's going to give a crap about what the UFC is going to spit out there. And I don't want to hear that Dana White says, well, whoever wins this Ferguson and Gaethje fight, they'll fight Khabib. No. That's not. First of all, that's not fair. That's not fair, because Ferguson has been the number one contender for the last 3 years. He tore his ACL and MCL. He's been out for almost 8 or 9 months. He came back. He fought Pettis. He still hasn't, because Khabib has been ducking and weaving this guy for years. That fight will never happen because Khabib is scared of Tony Ferguson. He's been scared of Tony Ferguson. That's 5 times. 5 times this fight never happened. And the UFC and Dana White is pushing. He's saying it. Listen, I'm going to make sure that we're going to put out the best cards possible when we come back. Is this the best card you could actually pick to watch?
This is ultimately 249, and the 2 fight cards, the 2 fight nights after that on the 13th, which is Wednesday, the following Wednesday, and then the following Saturday on the 16th. Those 2 fight cards are literally some of the fights that were on the original 249 that he pulled out and he just distributed to the other 2 fight cards. And they're all 3 of them are in the same location in Jacksonville. And Jeff, you've been there. I don't know. The ViStar Veterans.
Jacksonville's great.
The ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena.
Dump.
I'm not that familiar with it.
Dump.
I mean, you said it sucks?
Dump.
Oh, it's
Absolute
a dump. It's a dump. Okay. So, and not only that, but I don't know what the area is around it or anything like that. You know what I mean? Who the hell knows?
Picture like the Bronx, only more savvy.
The Bronx, but more savvy?
More savvy.
More savvy, okay. Well, here's the
more
thing.
savvy, like with knives.
Oh, more stabby. Mm-hmm. Oh, even better. Okay, That's good. So we don't have to worry about...
Jacksonville's a real shit town.
Okay, you don't have to worry about social you have to worry, so basically it's going to promote social distancing for the knives and the virus.
Here, I got the cases right here. I got the cases. Florida has 34,728 cases right now of COVID-19. 5,767 hospitalized. Deaths 1,314, which is not a lot. 50% male, 50% female. 0 to 107.
That's Florida
range
overall,
of age.
right?
That's Florida overall. So that's not bad. New York, it's 18,000 deaths. So that's 5 or 6 times more. But again, there are still people dying, and there's still huge amount of cases right now. 136 in Duval County, St. Johns County, 39. Clay County.
That's where it would be though, Duval County.
Okay, so 130, which is the most. It is. There has been the most hospitalized and most cases in Duval County. In that area. So again, 46% male, 54% female. So you're going to have this event in the worst place possible in Florida. The worst. That's a problem. And again, I understand the UFC is trying to bring in revenue. And they're a multi-billion-dollar organization. Do they really?
Do you not feel, though, that, like, listen, and I'm not saying whether it's right or it's wrong. I'm not picking a side or a political
I understand.
stance on this,
Yeah, I know.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But don't you feel like there kind of is a groundswell right now for, like, let's get on with it kind of thing? And I understand where you're coming from. People are sick and dying, and it's serious, and I'm not belittling that fact whatsoever. But I just feel like Disney's pushing it. There's people storming the state house in Michigan now, like trying to get things to reopen. I feel like there's a groundswell to just kind of push forward. And I think this one has a better chance than certainly the others did of actually still going on and happening.
So now let me ask you this. The minute this fight happens, a week later, by the time the next fight passes on Wednesday, let's say this event actually does happen, 249. Then the Wednesday comes. That event happens. By the time we get to the next one, you find out that there's a positive, whether it was the camp or actual fighting, the opponents or anything, from one of the 2 previous events. Now what happens? And I'm not saying this in terms of putting you on the spot, Jeff, but I'm just simply saying, then what does Dana White do besides looking like a colossal schmuck?
Listen, I understand where you're coming from, but it's, like there's questions on all kinds of sides of it, right? Because, and I'm not suggesting we should in any way use any person as a guinea pig for anything unless it's the beef, because I hate it. However, don't you think that this would be a interesting kind of event? Put some people in a building, see what happens. Will there be people getting sick, or will this sporting event go off without a hitch?
You know what it is about this, and this is the biggest problem, and a lot of times the last few shows or whatnot, when you hear us talking about this fight shouldn't be happening, this fight shouldn't be happening, we almost sound like haters or something like that, and we're the farthest thing from it when it comes to MMA.
I'm a Dana White hater. I'm a Dana White hater.
I'm not necessarily a Dana White hater. I never have.
I am.
You know what I mean? You hate everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But
he's great. He's from Boston. He's a hero.
What I'm saying is
that's why I hate him even more.
But this is the thing. Just like a lot of other things, I don't like anything that would put a blemish on MMA, because I remember MMA all the way in the back of the day when you couldn't do it, or people would use the term underground, which 9 times out of 10 it wasn't underground, just wasn't sanctioned because nobody gave a rat's ass to put a tax on it, and they didn't want to get money out of it. But what I'm saying is anything that's going to damage the sport or the look of the sport, that's what I have a problem with. Because when it comes down to it, how many times, and a lot of my friends are going to laugh at this one when I say this, people do not understand or do not distinguish between UFC and MMA. They think that they are one of the same. They don't understand that one is a organization and one is a sport. That's why you have some fun guys that when they approach people say, I've been doing UFC for God knows how long, when it's really MMA, and we have to laugh about it. But when people say MMA, the first thing people think is UFC. They don't think PFL, Bellator, Pride, anything from back in the day. They think UFC. So the minute they screw up with something, all of these sanctioning bodies or whatever are now going to punish all of the people. Like, for instance, PFL canceled everything. They're not doing anything. Bellator canceled everything. They're not doing anything. So the minute the UFC does something, somebody's going to get sick or whatnot. Now what happens? Now they're not saying, oh, well, maybe in the summer. Now they're saying, forget about it till 2021. Now you're all done. It's not happening. So even the people that are doing it right, they get, it rolls downhill. You know what I'm saying, Jeff?
So your stance would be
Stop everything.
If I'm hearing you correctly, would be don't have it because it could damage the sport even more.
I think it could push things back even further from a standpoint of these events. Yes, because you're pushing way too much. If we have things like the NFL is probably, would you say the NFL is probably the biggest sports organization in regards to bringing money in?
Right now, it's the number one organization besides the European Football League over there in
Premier League.
Yes,
right.
in Europe.
And even when it comes to the Premier League, how much stuff are they doing over there? Not a lot.
Not right now.
Not a lot at all. Mm-mm. So when that's being said, when you look at those two big money makers right there, and you have those billionaires and trillionaires saying we're not pushing it either. But then we're doing something like this. And also I think the reason why I take a little personal stock in this, because how long have along with myself and a lot of other people, waited for MMA to come into New York, or get legalized in a lot of different other states and such. That's why anything that blurs anything or damages anything, I have a big problem with. That's why I would rather sit back and let everybody sit back. I understand everybody wants to see it. I want to see it just like anybody else. But
I don't want to see this garbage.
No, but
I don't want to see this garbage.
But what I'm saying is, it's one of those. There's no need to push. There's no need for the desperation. Really, people think it's all And if Dana White, if anybody really thinks Dana White is going broke right now, and he's walking around like the first hour of Cinderella Man picking up sticks, and
it's not even his organization anymore. It's not. He doesn't own anything in that organization anymore. He sold it off. He is the president of the UFC. He's the guy he's the commissioner. He is what you call the commissioner. Just like the NFL has a commissioner, Roger Goodell, just like the NHL has Gary Bettman, and just like the MLB has Manfred. So they all have commissioners. Dana White is the commissioner and the president of the UFC. So again, just like I've said this over and over again as a product, if you're going to put a product out there and you want to sell this product, put the best product you possibly can out there. Don't push or put this product out there that is not going to sell it into the public's eye. After this is done, after this event is done, if it does go through, people are going to say, what is this garbage? What is this garbage that he is trying to sell? And to me, I understand, Jeff, I'm more than anybody, I want sports to come back more than anything because we want something to talk about on our shows. And there's always something to talk about. And God bless the NFL with the draft, even though they found a way. And it actually worked out. The virtual draft
it was good.
Yes.
Stop it. The virtual draft was great.
Yes, it actually worked out. But all in all, if it wasn't for the NFL, we would have nothing to talk about. So you know what the UFC is trying to do? They're trying to make one step above the NFL. We're going to have the first upcoming event out of all the sports. That's what he's trying to sell. You see, we're not afraid of this epidemic. We're not afraid of this. We're not afraid of that. But the fact is, you are afraid because your top fighters, besides Ferguson, your top fighters do not want to fight on this card. A matter of fact, UFC champion Stipe rules out fighting during the pandemic. So he is not fighting as long as this pandemic. He's not going to fight until next year. He is not going to fight until next year. And guaranteed.
The funny thing about Stipe is a first responder. Stipe is a fireman.
Mm-hmm. Firefighter.
And he's basically said, I'm not fighting while this is going on. It's not happening. It's not because he has any new information that anybody else does, but plain and simple, he's not going to risk it. I understand a lot of fighters on these cards, guarantee you, they need the money. So when you dangle that, I would love to see how much they're getting paid.
Nothing
I would
furlong.
love to see how much they're getting paid.
They're getting nothing, and that's the funny thing about this whole thing. You talking about money? The UFC, and I've said this over and over again. The UFC is the cheapest organization in professional sports. They are absolutely cheap. They do. What are you going to say? Am I right or wrong?
They're brilliant. They're brilliant.
What happened?
They're brilliant.
Oh yeah, they're brilliant. Oh, so
they're making money without paying anybody anything.
Yeah, because they're getting discount rates.
Yeah, good for them. Good for them because these guys are putting their lives on the line. They're getting their heads beat in, their arms popped out, their necks broken, getting into the octagon and getting their face smashed.
I would just rebut you with, don't they have a choice?
You want to know something? You're right. They do. Everybody has a choice to go in there. It's true. Nobody's putting a gun to their head or anything. But here's
no
the
one's
thing.
saying fight for UFC. There's Bellator. There's other organizations that they could go.
Oh, no.
All the organizations that you're talking about are falling apart. They're all done. Bellator will be bankrupt in 2 years. They'll be gone. Bellator is going to be gone.
People say you make a lot of money with free TV, but after a while, you need that pay-per-view money. It's not going to happen.
They don't have any pay-per-view anymore. They're gone. And I guarantee you, Bellator will be completely abolished in 2 years. Nobody's even going to be talking about Bellator anymore. And that's the problem. And the UFC is controlling the market. You're absolutely, I know what you're going to say. Well, that's not the UFC's fault. And you're absolutely right. It's not the UFC's fault. The problem here is the UFC is putting out garbage. They're putting out things that nobody wants to buy. I don't want to buy this, and I promise you I will not buy this card. I will not waste my money buying this card. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stream it for free, which most people are going to do. And you can test me on that, and if the police want to hear that, I'm going to say it straight out. I'm streaming this stupid garbage product for free.
He's saying it.
It's garbage.
I mean, by doing that, hold on. Just to make a point, by doing that, aren't you part of the UFC's problem? I'm going to stream it for free. So you're complaining about the fighters risking their lives and not getting any money, but you, the selfish one, aren't contributing to help them.
Let me tell you something. Do you know the card, the pay-per-view, besides the main event, besides the two main events, none of those guys are getting any of that money. They're not.
Anthony, you've been in the fight game a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What if I told you I showed up to one of your shows, but I snuck in the back door? You'd be like, "Where's my $10, buddy?"
Okay. Yeah, pretty much.
Isn't that what everyone's doing?
It'll probably be 40. I don't know about 10, but it'll probably be 40. I understand the
Whatever.
point, Jeff.
You know what I'm saying.
But here's the thing. Besides all that, and I know what you're saying.
You think I'm the only person doing it,
No,
Jeff?
basically he's saying because you still have the interest.
I understand what he's saying.
You know what I mean?
I understand what he's saying. I'm not blind to what he says.
I'm telling you, people that strongly believe in something and that advocate for something, like I do all the time with golf, should be happy to pay for something because you're supporting the thing that you want to see move forward.
I am not supporting Dana White's garbage, okay? Dana White sits there. Go on YouTube, guys. Anybody go on YouTube? Have the opportunity to go and watch all these little pressers he has in his basement or wherever he's sitting around talking about bringing in, I'm going to give you the best product possible. And when we bring it back, we are going to be the number one product out there. Yeah, you're going to be the number one product out there because all the other organizations are smart enough not to put their product out there until they know it's safe for the players and safe for the fan. You're not doing it for the fan. You're not doing it for the fighters. You're doing it for your damn self. That's why he's doing it.
And what's funny is when we bring this up, and I've brought it up millions of times in regards to any models that Vince McMahon comes over with and Dana White should follow or whatnot. Now, unfortunately, or I guess you could say it's a little bit too late now, UFC is trying to follow in the UFC's footsteps with some things with the Fight Pass because they're pushing the Fight Pass a lot lately. They've been pushing it a lot on Instagram, Facebook. They've been throwing their little previews in and whatnot. And my favorite is the two shows that they stole from the model of the WWE. Mm-hmm. For instance, one's called Fight Lore. And if anybody has Facebook or anything that they follow anything on ESPN or MMA, I'm sure you'll have these little pop-ups of these little cartoon skits of Nick Diaz and Riggs fighting each other after their fight in a, kind of like a story time thing, which the WWE did. They also are now going as far as showing through a webcam a whole bunch of people sitting on a couch watching a pay-per-view. Or a past pay-per-view and their reactions to things, like watching a Joanna fight Zhang and their reactions and such. But you don't see the fight. You just see their reactions while they're sitting there talking, hanging out, which is something that the WWE did. So them pushing the Fight Pass so much, they're trying to gain whatever kind of new subscribers they are. Why? Why are they doing this with this new, basically 3-fight schedule coming up, or 3-event schedule coming up? Why? Because they probably think there's a chance it's not going to go. So let me get whatever money we can out of this quarter or whatever that's coming up. So, I mean, it's as much as we all want to see it and as much as we all miss sports and we're starving for sports and such, just like all the other sports, I would rather them take a back seat sit down, wait until everything clears up, or get to a point where it's so minimal that the risk, things are, other than Florida, really nothing's opening up. You know, you basically just went, and as Errol said, you're going to the worst possible spot in Florida. You're not going to the best possible, you're going to the worst possible. So even with that being said, you're still putting people in a risk. These people still have to travel. You do have international fighters here. If they're here, great. But just because they're here and they're not flying in doesn't mean that they're going to be any less of risk. It sucks. You know, we hate it. Everyone hates it and such. But that's just the way it is.
Here's what I'm done. I'm done listening to this because to me, I sit here and I listen to all the rubbish and the crap that I read on the internet. Because while you guys are going back and forth talking about the same old crap about Dana White, I'm reading all different things that is going on in the world, pay-per-views, WrestleMania's pay-per-view, and I'm trying to skim through what professional sports is trying to do, how they're going to try to drive back sports or bring back sports for the media and for the world, for fans to watch, because there are a lot of people complaining that they have nothing else better to do sitting home. They're watching Netflix, they're watching the Tiger King or whatever the garbage that they're watching right now, and they want sports to come back. Here's the problem, and I'm going to say, and this has nothing to do with the UFC anymore. This has something to do with professional sports. I was one, and I'm one of the people that took shots at this pandemic. I thought it was just a joke. I thought eventually this is going to go away. Blah 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 blah. It's not going away. This is not going away. It's not going away anytime soon. And the fact is, as much as everybody thinks it's getting better, China a couple of weeks ago opened up everything up. Everything was better. Everything was cool and clean. And they opened up all their businesses and schools and everything. What happened? An outbreak happened again. That's what happened. So we're going to open up everything, and sports is going to come back eventually, and we're going to have more problems because I think it's going to come back even stronger and worse for us. Now, we know how to somewhat control it, but even knowing how to control it, it doesn't stop the fact that to me, everybody that walks out of the house should be wearing a mask. Every single person should be wearing a mask. But that doesn't happen. I'm sorry?
The Beeve could do it anyways. He's ugly.
This has nothing to do with the Beeve. But I'm just saying, everybody that walks out of the house should have a mask. They should have a mask. That doesn't happen. That will not happen. And the fact is, and I understand the fighters, they're going to be tested before their fight just to make sure that they're clean from COVID-19. I heard Cormier came out and there was an article written that Cormier told the press that if he goes to this event, his wife does not want him to come home. Mm-hmm. His wife does not want him to come home because she doesn't want him to put his kids and his family at risk. So
that doesn't sound like much of a punishment.
Well, I guess, Jeff, but that's not even my point here. My point is that you're looking at the situation, and everybody looks at it the glass half full, and I'm looking at it where I see the UFC is trying to find a way to bring their product back so they could say, you see, we were the first. We were the first to put the product out there. We're the first to get this thing going, and now everybody's following us, just like with the NBA. Adam Silver was the first organization to say, we're closing everything down. And then what happened? A day later, the NHL did. A day later, the MLB did. A day later, all the organizations did. So when this is all over, the NBA will be the front runner where everybody's going to say, Adam Silver was the smartest guy. He was the one that made sure that he closed the sport before it got worse. And the fact is,
Are they going to be the first, or not for nothing? Golf seems to be the leader in the clubhouse to be the first one back.
And you want to know something? I think that would probably, out of all the sports, that makes the most sense. You know why? Because golfers could be 6 feet away from each other. They're playing one-on-one, really. You're matched out. You're matched up with two people or one person, unless you're going to a championship game and you might be matched out with three. Yeah, you're either a pair, or if you're close to one another, you might be three guys. If you're going to an overtime, or whatever they call it. Yes. So it makes more sense for golf to come back. It does. Out of all the sports, golf should, and tennis too. Tennis is also a sport that could come back.
They're also talking about NASCAR, which a lot of times, other than the pit crew, even in the pit crew, as you see, even the pit crew is wearing helmets and such. So it's not that far out of the idea of protecting themselves away from each other and the non-contact, because they're constantly wearing so much stuff that protects them from fire, let alone diseases. Mm-hmm. So I mean, even NASCAR might have a bit of a push with that as well later on. I think after golf probably is a little bit of that like sample, I guess, to see what happens.
I mean, on a whole different note, right? On a whole different note, the reason why I called was to ask Anthony, because I believe Anthony is the expert here. Other people are just talking heads. Anthony's the expert.
Oh, so you're telling me I know nothing about mixed martial arts? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying no. I'm calling Anthony an expert.
And what am I? Chop liver?
Very much so.
Oh, kiss my ass. Kiss my ass, Jeff.
Would Justin Gaethje even have a puncher's chance against?
No. No.
Okay.
I mean, as we all say, everybody has a puncher's chance. So if you want to say a puncher's chance, yeah, everybody has a puncher's chance. But a puncher's chance is not very realistic. You have a better chance.
Because I don't know anything about him, but I am a gambler and do like to put money on fights.
Well, that's, something, now you're talking my language. You're not doing that. If anything, here we go, everybody. Errol, you knew somebody was going to get me into the whole mode of handicapping. If this happens, because you're allowed to have DraftKings and FanDuel down there, right, in Sportsbook?
Yeah.
You might as well put a parlay down on the 5 favorites. The 5 favorites on that main card. You'll at least come out with better money than what it's going to be. Because you're probably looking at a minus 450 if you put money on Ferguson. It's not worth it putting it on Gaethje. Gaethje's not winning. It's not worth it. Go the parlay route. Go the proper route.
You're probably telling me the parlay is the play. The 5-way parlay and parlay them all together, all 5 games.
Yes.
All right. Well, now I know what to do with my stimulus
and most
check.
probably, if the fight doesn't happen, they'll void it out.
I'm not even going to waste my time betting, because I don't bet on sports, and even if I did bet on sports, I wouldn't bet on this card. That's for sure. Gaethje, Ferguson.
You don't bet. You don't drink. Cool story, nerd. Go eat a salad and go to bed early.
How about I put my foot in your ass? How about I put my foot in your ass? How about we have our own tournament, me against you? How's that sound? How about that?
Trust me, I wouldn't fight you because the disease I would probably catch wouldn't be COVID.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my disease is my knee in your chest, man. That's what it is. That's my disease. Jeff, we got to go to break, man.
I'm excited because it's this. Listen, this card goes off, I get to gamble and be a degenerate and drink whiskey and scream.
Well, we already know you're a degenerate, so.
And if it doesn't happen, how great is it that the first sporting event back is going to be the greatest quarterback on the planet with the greatest left-handed golfer of all time taking on Tiger Woods and Rocky from the Mask movie.
Eric Stoltz?
Doesn't Peyton Manning look like Rocky from the 1985 movie?
Oh, my God.
Oh, that's just wrong.
Jeff, that's all I could say. It's Jeff.
That's wrong.
Jeff, thank you for calling, man.
Tell me that's not Peyton Manning in that movie.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you.
Anthony, you're the expert.
Goodbye, Jeff. Thank you for calling, Jeff. Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. The great Jeff.
Our correspondent from Florida.
Yes, who just likes to hear himself talk. That's what he likes to do. And unfortunately, he's still busting my balls, And it just doesn't end.
On another note, Chris Brown, one of our viewers, and I did see this. And he does bring in. Thank you for reminding me. When I first saw this, it was making my eyes spin around because I couldn't believe this is going to be a new movement now. Chris Brown, he's correct with these rumors. Amanda Nunes is actually looking into getting work with the WWE.
Really?
Yep. And you want to know something? Will they gobble her up? Well, what happened with Ronda?
Ronda left because of the whole situation with the fans.
From a personality standpoint, I actually think Amanda Nunes would probably do a lot better.
I do too, because first of all, she doesn't say much.
But
Ronda
she
likes
likes
to
being
talk.
a bad guy. Amanda likes being a bad guy.
I think Amanda's a fantastic fighter.
She's a fantastic fighter,
Yeah,
but she
is.
likes being the bad guy. She does.
Anyways, why don't we go to a quick break? When we come back, we'll get more into UFC 249 and 250. We'll get into some clips of what Dana White said over the week. I want to cut it up. I want to cut it. If I actually had a cutting program right now, I'd cut it while we're at break, just for everybody to hear the ridiculousness of Dana White and the crap that comes out of his mouth. It's garbage. That's all I'm going to say. When we come back, we'll get into Dana White and his garbage and UFC 249 here on Caged in MMA.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's time! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner.
Right there, hold on, right there. Boom, I faked him. Oh, whoa, that was, whoa. I'm back.
But Mama Babo, how you say his name?
I'm going to go home tonight. I'm going to drink a Coors Light.
Fighting out of the red corner.
I completely dominated that 5th round. That 5th round want me to fight.
From the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
It's time!
The #1 MMA show in America. Caged in MMA.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Caged in MMA. I'm your host, Errol Marks, my co-host, Anthony Anderosi, as you guys know. And I know this for some reason. I want to say this. Jeff is a great caller. I have nothing against Jeff as a person. And I love the fact that he calls up and he has his smart-ass remarks, and he likes taking shots at me. He doesn't take shots at you because
he
doesn't. No, he doesn't.
He has.
He is a moron. He is an absolute. You know what? I'd rather deal with Dana White than I have to deal with him sometimes. But as a person, me and Jeff actually get along. We actually agree on a lot of things. And the guy is very, very knowledgeable when it comes to sports. There's no question that he is. And I have no problems with Jeff as a person. But as a sports fan and a guy that just likes to get under my skin, boy, oh boy, he knows how to get me heated. He really does. And I just, to me, it's a complete mockery of what sports should be. But I love the fact that he calls up and he gives his own opinions towards things, because it opens up my views to hating him more. So thank you, Jeff. So there you go.
Oh, my God.
Anyways, getting back into UFC 249, Dana White, and I've said this over and over again, Dana White loves. Oh, by the way, you can call us at 631-965-4990, and you can download our app by going to iOS and Android. On iOS, WWSRN. You can follow our shows, read our stories. We have great writers right now on our network. Brad and George, all of them. Garrett, great, talented writers. Jillian, shout out to Jillian and Ricky, our social media people. They absolutely put the hard work in. I think they're amazing. They do a lot of good work for us. So shout out to them. And our network as a whole, and all the different things that we're going to be doing and moving forward. So stay tuned for that. But you can follow us also on Android. Go on the App Store, Worldwide Sports Radio Network. It's free, guys. You don't have to go to our website anymore. You don't have to go to Facebook or Twitter. It's right on the app. Everything is there. So it's right at your fingertips. So if you guys don't have it, download the app. Dana White likes to speak, by the way, and I think everybody knows that. So I have something interesting for people to hear. Now, Dana White, throughout the week, has been on a bunch of ESPN shows, different shows, podcasts. Well, Dana White yesterday was on, what is this show called? Or what is this thing called? Brett Okamoto?
Brett Okamoto, the
Brett Okamoto show, whatever you want to call it. This has to be a show because it's about 15 minutes. So it's a little podcast. So I'm going to play a couple of clips on Okamoto asking Dana White about he reveals May 13th and May 16th UFC cards. So listen in here at with Caged in MMA.
ESPN. We are here with UFC President Dana. 249 kicks it off on May 9th. Tony Ferguson fighting Justin Gaethje for the interim lightweight championship. and things move on quickly from there. You guys are putting on an event, Dana, just a few days later on May 13th, same venue. Give us some information, man. Let's start with the prelims first. We'll get to the main card here in a second, but give me the prelims for that May 13th event.
Well, we're going Saturday, May 9th. We're going Wednesday, May 13th. And then we're going Saturday, May 16th. So Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday on ESPN. And on the Wednesday, the 13th, we have the main event before we go to the main card is Philippe Lins versus Andre Arlovsky. The main event on that card will be Anthony Smith versus Glover Teixeira. And the co-main event for that card is Ben Rothwell versus Ovince St. Preux. OSP is coming back.
Two guys that haven't fought in 4 years,
Saturday,
guys.
May
Great.
16th, so it goes Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. The Saturday, May 16th card, Anthony Hernandez versus Kevin Holland is the fight right before we go into the main card. And then the main event on that card is Walt Harris versus Alistair Overeem. The co-main event for that fight is Claudia Gadelha.
That's a great heavyweight fight, let me tell you.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, so obviously some big fights.
Oh, yeah, big
fights.
fights.
Got to get to. By the way,
great, Akamoto. Do you even know what you're talking about?
The prelims of the May 13th card, and you're just delivering
I don't
everything.
listen to what you tell me to do. I do what I want.
Kiss his ass, Akamoto. Kiss his ass.
You're giving us everything. You're gonna things in June, by the way. What's happening in June and July while we're at it? So
Listen, people haven't had sports.
His mother's
forever.
on the card
You're gonna beat
in
people
June.
over the head with this Saturday, May 9th. And then we go Wednesday, May 13th. Then we go Saturday, May 16th. Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday.
That is
just
true.
beating people over the head with how this is going to work.
Yeah, well, I'm done. I'm good with that. Okay, I am absolutely good with that. This is the problem, and again, this is not an all-out slot taking shots at Dana White. This is not going to be the whole show. I promise you guys. But this is what I'm telling you. And Jeff called the show and kind of bothered me enough where I just had to go through different clips throughout the week because if it seems to be that Dana White likes to see his face or likes to hear his voice on a ton of different shows. And unfortunately, it doesn't bode well for him because the cards that he's putting together are cards that half these guys we haven't seen in years.
Let's be real. He's recycling names. This is what it is. He's recycling names to draw some kind of interest. Now, there are some quality fighters on this card. We're not taking away from that. Anthony Smith is a quality fighter. Ferguson, obviously a quality fighter. You know, Francis Ngannou, Rushenk, Walt Harris, who I believe is coming from a tragedy. He had the daughter who was kidnapped and was murdered and all that stuff.
Yeah, sad story, by the way.
Which is a very sad story. He's coming back.
Yeah.
He's coming back from that. You know, but now you have
stepdaughter,
names,
by the way.
Stepdaughter.
Yeah, stepdaughter. Yeah, stepdaughter.
But here's the thing: Overeem, Rothwell, Arlovsky. All right, who? I mean,
how old is he? 45, 46?
We're talking
Randy
about
Couture's age.
I mean, come on. We're talking really, really grasping at straws. The thing about it, and I'm sure Errol, let me put it in a nice way for Errol.
Go ahead, put it in a nice way.
I'm not speaking for Errol, but let's put it in a nice way. Brett Okamoto, all these people, when they start, and I understand they're journalists, and I understand, but...
Is that what you call them? Journalists?
Easy, you know. But what I'm saying is, when you hear them saying, wow, and these ridiculous reactions, you almost have to look at their intelligence and say you have none. Because I understand you're talking to Dana White. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Because if anybody thinks that this fight card is really that good, you really don't know the sport. I'm sorry. And I'm not saying, oh, well, we just want to watch fights. Okay, we're not experts and such and da-da-da-da-da-da. That's fine. You're not an expert. That's fine. But you want to see something quality. You don't want to see, ultimately, what this would be the equivalent to is, would you say, if this was boxing, would you say that this is the equivalent to seeing a 50-year-old Pacquiao going against a 20-year-old Mayweather, if that was possible?
I wouldn't even.
That's
compare
how landslide. That's how much of a mismatch these fights are. And let's be real, mismatches don't help anybody. Mismatches don't help the fighters. Mismatches don't help the sport because people just get hurt. Arlovsky, how many times have we seen Couture come back?
Randy
Couture?
Liddell. Yeah. Liddell just came back, a year and a half ago to fight Ortiz?
Right, and that was
on
that
De La
was a
Hoya.
joke.
Yeah,
you know,
I would rather see De La Hoya come out from retirement and fight Chuck Liddell
BJ
in
Penn
an
just
MMA fight.
BJ Penn just retired a few weeks ago, officially again.
My God, I love BJ.
But you know what I'm saying. There's a point where you go to the well, one to the well too many times. Rothwell, he had a nice career, you know, IFL and everything. You know what I mean? We're talking about some.
Didn't
real
Weidman
historic
beat
things.
him or something like that? And he hasn't fought since then. Was it Weidman that beat him? Rothwell?
No.
Who beat Rothwell? And he hasn't fought
Frank
since.
Mir?
Somebody beat Rothwell, and he hasn't fought. Oh, Rothwell, the heavyweight.
The heavyweight. But
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. He came. It was probably about a year and a half ago. He took a fight against another veteran, but a stronger veteran and somebody who wasn't that far down, wasn't as old as him, and just cleaned him out. So the same thing with Arlovsky. Arlovsky has come back or tried to come back because he's a name. Arlovsky has had amazing.
He's been a name for 20 years.
I mean, let's be real. He had a trilogy against Tim Sylvia.
20 years.
Tim Sylvia.
Sport.
You know, Arlovsky fought Fedor in the Affliction fight. Remember the Affliction fight?
Yeah, I remember it.
Everybody had the T-shirts. They actually had an MMA fight at one time, an MMA event.
It's garbage, man.
So, I mean, that's where it comes down to it. I mean, it's really sad that you have to put these things together because and like he said, there's prelims and main cards. So in 3 events in 1 week, you have roughly 50 fights, 100 fighters, and their camps, and their people, all in the same venue. I don't know. Risk?
Here's my risk.
A lot of hand sanitizer.
And here's my shot at what the UFC has been trying to do. And again, I am a UFC fan. I'm a mixed martial arts fan. I know a lot of people are probably saying, oh, you hate mixed martial arts. You're a boxing fan. No, I don't. I love boxing, but I love the mixed martial arts. I love MMA. I have a love for it. I just, in the last couple of years, and I'm, besides the Khabib and really watching Conor McGregor get his butt whipped, and the Nate Diaz-Conor McGregor fight, there really hasn't been anything, and the 2 girls, Joanna and Zhang. I really haven't seen anything that remotely really sticks out to me that the UFC has spit out there where I could say, you know what, I remember that fight. There's nothing. There has been nothing. And I don't want to hear about John Jones because John Jones won't be fighting for another year. He is going to be suspended for what the DWI or DUI, another case. And I don't know when he's going to come back. And the UFC has been pushing and pushing Conor McGregor and John Jones. They've been doing this for a long, long time. It's about time where they can find somebody else that they could push. We mentioned some guys last week or 2 weeks ago that we would put in our forefront and try to promote these guys to put them as the next superstars in the UFC. It's just not going to happen right now because Dana White wants to drain as much as he can get out of Conor McGregor and John Jones. Now, I do want to read this story. Donald Cerrone wants to become the first UFC fighter to fight 3 times in 1 week. UFC welterweight Donald Cerrone says he wants to become the first fighter in UFC history to fight 3 times in 1 week. Cerrone takes on Anthony Pettis in a rematch at UFC 249 next Saturday night at Jacksonville, Florida. Living up to his anywhere, anytime mantra, Cowboy took the fight against Pettis on a short notice. Why am I not surprised when he got practically shoulder knocked out by Conor McGregor? Okay, so, and yes, I don't care what anybody says, oh, he got caught with the knee. The real truth is he went to his knee. He lost the fight because he was getting paid to lose that fight. Anyways.
Oh, the fix was in?
Yes, the fix was in. Pettis on a short notice in effort to help the UFC save UFC 249. Now, let's be honest. And I love Donald Cerrone. I think he's a tough guy. He's been a tough guy in the sport for a very long time. After that fight with Conor McGregor, I don't want to see him anymore. I have no interest in watching Donald Cerrone fight anybody anymore because it was embarrassing. He embarrassed himself. He embarrassed his training or whoever he's training with, he practically embarrassed his gym. Okay, and the fact that he is doing it to try to push and try to fight the pandemic of coronavirus is not. It's not, to me, a highly profiled personality to put that on the card, because to me, Donald Cerrone has fought. When was the last time he fought? What was it? 3 months ago? 2 months ago when he got knocked out?
Connor.
Yeah, it was 2 months ago. He's going back into a ring and he wants to fight 3 guys. He wants to make money. That's a fact here.
I think he only has 3 more fights left on his.
He wants to make money. That's it. It's all about money. It has nothing to do with he wants to be the first person, because he'll be the first person to be knocked out by all 3 guys. In my eyes,
well, you want to know something?
He'll beat Pettis.
I think he'll beat Pettis.
Yes, he'll beat
He's
Pettis.
supposed to fight Anthony Pettis, which Anthony Pettis, other than
another washed-up fighter,
other than beating Stephen Thompson with that, as Jeff would say, a puncher's chance. I mean, he was losing that fight, and then he came out of nowhere and knocked Stephen Thompson completely out. You know, he was stiff. But with that being said, Cowboy, you know, he's a big fan favorite. He's gonna bring in some kind of interest. He will. You know, Anthony Pettis, the only thing that Anthony Pettis is really known for, I'm sorry to say, because he did have a nice little run when he was a lightweight champion in the UFC after he came over from WEC, was that cage kick of Ben Henderson in WEC. Or WEC. That's the thing that Pettis is really known for. Pettis is also, I would say, on his way towards retirement. These guys stick around way too long, and unfortunately, they hurt their legacy. We've talked about it. I think it comes up in conversation anytime you see a veterans like this, guys that have been around for so long, so many fights. They all start damaging, as you would say, their legacy. Do they care about their legacy? I'm sure they care about paying their bills more. That's why they do it. But when we see the amount of fights that they're trying to recycle these names in these fights, it's insane. That's why when you said, instead of building up the talent and building up the prospects, the last show that we had, after the show, I brought up a name to Errol. The kid's name is Sadiq Youssef. He fights out of Lloyd Irving. Remember? Mm-hmm. We sat here and watched his
all
last
his fights. We watched all his fights.
And even his last fight, the fight, he actually fought in that free fight in Brazil that had nobody there. He went against Andre Fili. It was a great 3-round fight, and it was a dominant 3-round fight. This kid, he's in, forget it. The kid is on his way up. You're going to hear this kid's name. Sadiq Youssef out of Nigeria. Great fighter.
Now, we have people on Instagram, and I'm watching who are the top 5 fighters right now in the UFC. And to me, I don't know who the top 5 fighters in the UFC is right now, because we haven't seen fights in over a month. And if you would put you put John Jones as number 1, Khabib as number 2, I wouldn't even put Conor McGregor in my top 5.
You would or wouldn't?
I wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't.
If you're talking about just
give your top 5 right now.
Give my top 5?
Top 5 right now.
I'm telling you right now, I'm throwing a woman in there. I'm definitely throwing a woman in there.
Go ahead. Give it the top 5s.
John Jones, obviously.
Yes.
Okay.
Khabib, number 2.
Khabib is in there.
He's number 2. Tony Ferguson's in the top 5.
Stipe is in there. Mm-hmm. Okay. Stipe is definitely in there.
The heavyweight champion, yeah.
Valentina's in there. And probably rounding it all out, I'd go Ferguson at 5. I would actually go Usman.
You go to Usman?
I would go to Usman.
I go Ferguson. Ferguson's won 8 fights in a row, and I do believe he will beat Khabib if he ever fights Khabib, if it ever happens. But Ferguson has always been a guy that people have doubted over the last couple of years. But and if you know the story behind Ferguson, Tony Ferguson is a nut job. We all know he's crazy. The guy is nuts. Okay, we all know what he did with his wife and his kid. I mean, he's really the laughing stock of MMA, because if you hear the story, he believes that there are aliens here in the world, and he believed that supposedly the story came out that he saw something and it scared him, and he stopped in the middle of a highway in his car and left his daughter and son. Is it his daughter and son? I mean, his wife and his son in the car, and he jumped over the what's that thing called? The medium, and started running, screaming that there are aliens that are going to attack us.
He did a Ricky Bobby, just except for fire. He wasn't on fire. He saw aliens. That's what it was. He was running. He was running around.
He was running around all over the place in L.A. over a medium, screaming that we're going to all die. Okay, so and the story, and as funny as the story is, I mean, Tony Ferguson's a great fighter. There's nothing.
I mean, you know what?
I like Tony Ferguson.
All kidding aside,
I like him.
I'm sure that was a pretty bad look. You're doing that in front of your kids. You know what I mean? I'm sure your wife has probably seen you do it.
She's
before.
probably laughing. If I was her, I'd be laughing too.
Really, we're going to do this again? The kids probably, on the other hand, you know what I mean? They got, hopefully they were sleeping in the back of the car, so it wasn't like when Daddy was having an episode. I mean, where are we talking about? This is what's really funny. I had a little nostalgia moment right now. For a lot of people that don't know, we have a birthday boy here.
Yes, okay. It's my birthday, yes.
So, happy birthday.
It was Wednesday.
Not so far.
38 years old, I'm an old man.
Right around his birthday last year, I was a guest on the show.
Yes, you were with Mike Washington.
And we were talking about Khabib and Ferguson back then.
Yes, we were.
And instead, what was happening? Ferguson and Cerrone. Because Khabib was, I believe he was still dealing with a suspension.
Suspension,
right?
yep.
With the Conor
With the Conor McGregor. 9 months suspension.
So now things are coming back full circle, and what are we still talking about? This is actually kind of nice. It's like an anniversary thing.
But we've been talking about Khabib. I've been talking about Khabib and Ferguson for like 4 years. I mean, we've been waiting.
It's not going to happen.
Wait, it's never going to happen.
I'll get you a Red Ryder BB gun. This ain't happening.
It's never going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
I'm telling you, and it's Khabib. It's not Ferguson. Tony wants to fight Khabib.
Listen.
It's Khabib that doesn't want to fight Ferguson. Everybody knows this. It's a mismatch. And I know Khabib knows that because Tony Ferguson is just as good a wrestler as Khabib is. Everybody says Khabib is the best wrestler in the UFC. I beg to differ on that. First of all, Daniel Cormier was the best wrestler in the UFC. And if Daniel Cormier is still in the UFC, if he ever fights again, he is the best wrestler in the UFC. That's why they train out of the same gym, Khabib and him. But to me, the best wrestler in my eyes in the UFC that nobody talks about is Tony Ferguson. And Tony Ferguson, he doesn't have trainers. He really doesn't. Tony Ferguson is his own trainer. He trains out his own gym. He trains his own fighters. He trains himself. He has, obviously, a corner. He has guys in his corner because you have to have somebody in your corner.
He's still with Matt Morgan and
yes.
those,
But do you think that Tony Ferguson is going to take advice? Do you think Tony Ferguson is going to take advice from anybody in his corner? Tony Ferguson believes in aliens, okay? The guy he's running over mediums screaming that their aliens are going to kill us. So do you think he's going to listen to somebody in an octagon when he wants to kill somebody? I mean, seriously.
Does he have an alien in his corner?
Maybe? Oh, maybe he does.
But I can't. Do you hear what we have to talk about?
I'm just being serious. We have to talk about something.
No, it's obviously we have to talk about something. But what's really scary is that actually happened. That's what's really happened. Anyway, forget about it. Ferguson, Khabib, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
And I'll give
it's never
you one
going to
even
happen.
better. Ferguson beats Gagey. Technically, and Dana White was saying it. I think he's backed off a little bit because I think he sees where this is going. Ferguson wins.
By TKO.
Beats Gagey in the first round.
I think second round. He'll beat him.
I'm thinking first. I think it's going to get to a ground and pound situation. Because if he gets you down and he knows how to be heavy as hell, and especially if he posts you against that
and
fence,
his stamina is unbelievable. When you watch Tony Ferguson fight, this guy never gets tired.
Don't get me wrong, Gagey is a good
wrestler.
Fighter. I'm not
He's
saying
a good wrestler,
but this is a bad matchup. Mm-hmm. This is a bad matchup. If
he matched up better against Conor.
He did. Mm-hmm. If anybody thought that the Romero and Stylebender matchup was bad, wait until you see this one. This matchup's going to be bad. But as I was saying, you are going to see Khabib, McGregor 3 before you see Ferguson-Khabib fight.
I think you're going to see Nate and Conor before you see Khabib and Ferguson fight.
If Dana White wants to stretch out his dollar, he would do that fight before he would do a rematch with Conor and Khabib. You might as well put the trilogy out there. Everybody wants to see the trilogy. Everybody wants to see the trilogy before they want to see a rematch.
Happy birthday, Chris. Happy birthday next month. Happy birthday, man. He's 44. I'm 38, man. I'm getting old, man. I don't look old, but I tell you, my body hurts.
Chris is going to be another guy, just like I am, that when you're complaining about 38 and we got a 4 in front of our number, in front of our age.
My body hurts,
we don't feel bad for you. Do you know what arthritis is like?
I know what herniated disc feels like. I
honestly,
have it right now.
Do you know what it's like when you need like 15 minutes to get up out of bed?
Yes, I do. Actually, yes, I do.
No, not because you don't want to go to work. I'm saying
no,
because
I
you're
go
in
to
pain.
work all the time, buddy. I go to work all the
man.
time. That's all I do. I mean, I hate it. I hate it when I'm at work and I'm in my car or I'm going to facility to facility. I will tell you guys this: I'm watching old fights. I'm trying to keep up what's going on in sports. I'm doing business for the network, and I get phone calls from this guy right here, and we talk about all different things going on in MMA. Yeah, I'm talking about you.
Oh, please. You know I keep your day festive.
Yeah, you do. You do. But we're also sitting there. We go from MMA to NFL to other things we're talking about. Then we're going up
It's
to.
better listening to the schmucks on the radio.
Well, that's true. I mean, there are a lot of schmucks on the radio.
Thank you.
Yes. So you're absolutely right. I think
I'm a blessing.
Yeah, you are a blessing.
I'm a blessing.
Yes, you're a blessing right in disguise. That's for sure.
Hey, God works in mysterious ways, my friend.
Anyways, but you're never going to see Khabib and Ferguson.
No.
That's not going to happen.
There's going to be another excuse, another something, whatever.
Unfortunately,
die.
I know everybody can't wait for that, but
I
it's not happening.
Somebody passed away in the family. I got to go back. But the thing that is upsetting me with it, and there's a lot of this, it's the idea of the interim title. The interim title, first off, when you throw that word interim, you might as well have an asterisk next to anything.
Just put champion.
When you put asterisks next to anything, it waters it down. That's why the word interim sucks. Khabib has to. They've always we always talked about this. I think it's in boxing. There's the rules in boxing.
Yes.
When it comes to WBA, WBC, the big three. You have to defend your title within a certain period, or it gets vacated. Correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That does not apply in the UFC, unfortunately.
Well, that's because Dana White runs everything.
But it should. Because right now, if you want to look at it, this fight should be for the title, not the interim title. There shouldn't be interim titles. What the hell is that? You're just basically, it's a cute way of saying number one contender. You know? Plus, and here's the other thing on this fight card that's pissing me off already. Henry Cejudo. You brought in Dominic Cruz. Dominic Cruz is not even in the top 10 in the UFC's division. But who gets the shaft? And people say this is biased because we're from New York and we're in Long Island right now, whatever.
Ooh.
Now, no. Aljamain Sterling.
Yep.
Aljamain Sterling.
Real estate, baby.
Aljamain Sterling, number 2, right there. And he hasn't fought Henry Cejudo yet.
He hasn't fought in like a year.
And you want to know something? But listen. Right there, that shot should be gone.
Oh,
he should be getting a shot. Peter Yan should be getting a fight.
Why is Cerrone fighting on every single card that we see, and we don't see some of the top fighters
I feel like they're trying to push
in the division?
They're trying to push the last 3 fights out of his contract to get him the hell out of here.
Is that what you think he's doing?
I think that's what they're trying to do.
Is that what Dana White is trying to do? Because
trying
to me,
to get the most money they
it's
can
an embarrassment
off of that fanfare.
It's a complete
that his name
embarrassment.
has.
It really is.
He's got 3 fights left. Push him through. Push him out. Let him retire because he's not going to get another 5-fight deal, 3-fight deal. It's not going to happen.
Did you read this article?
Johnny Hendricks?
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
Here, Johnny Hendricks. If you guys remember him, he was the guy that a lot of people thought.
He's the guy that can't make weight.
Almost beat GSP, by the way. That was a very close fight.
As a heavyweight.
Yes.
As a heavyweight.
Yes,
the guy can't make weight, ever.
Johnny Hendricks explains how the USADA played a role in his retirement of MMA. Johnny Hendricks never failed the USADA test or took any performance-enhancing drugs in his career. But he does say the USADA played a big factor in why he retired in 2018. Hendricks claimed the UFC gold back at UFC 171 where he defeated Robbie Lawler to win the vacant belt. We were just talking about vacancies. He would then lose the title to Lawler in the next fight, and the USADA would be soon introduced afterward. After the USADA was brought in, Hendricks ended his career just 2-5 while he missed weight 3 times. Part of the reason why he struggled was his diet. As he said, he was drinking too much beer and eating fast food instead of getting the right nutrients in his body.
So wait. So the USDA puts a gun to his head, ties him to a chair, sticks him in front of his fridge, force feeds him, feeds him through a bottle, beer, and that's why he's missing weight.
Well, that's what he's saying.
Okay.
That's what he's saying. I don't know.
If anybody wants to know the effects of long-term hits to the head, there you go.
Well, I don't know about long-term hits to his head. I think he's trying to find a reason or an excuse on why he
come
retired.
up with a good one?
Well, that's his excuse. Unfortunately,
Couldn't come up with a good one.
Well,
usually when people complain about the USDA, they usually complain about some kind of failed test when it comes to blood tests or piss tests. Correct?
Yes.
Not. I ate too much beer and nachos. Help me with this.
There's nothing to help. I
Help
think
me with this.
We got a guy like Tony Ferguson that thinks aliens are going to attack the world and
Maybe
we're all going to
did.
die. That's him. And then we
saw something?
have fighters like John Jones who can't stay out of trouble, or he likes to drive fast, or he likes to sniff coke, or whatever the heck he likes to do,
Or all of the
or
above
party, or all
at the
the
same
above,
time.
or steroids, shooting himself in the ass. And then you have guys like Mark Hunt coming out and claims the UFC doesn't give a shit if fighters die, which I agree with him. I agree with him on this article. I'll tell you, I'm going through some of these articles because I haven't read them yet, and they came out today. And I know the MMA world and MMA news is trying to find some kind of story to talk about. But boy, oh boy, oh boy, everything is negative coming out from the UFC. Just think about it. Every single thing so far that I've read is negative. Why?
But Mark
Why?
Mark Hunt has been on this for a long time, and he's never gotten an answer. He hasn't. Back in UFC 200.
But he's right.
No, he is right. Back in UFC 200, he went against Brock Lesnar.
I remember.
Brock Lesnar basically laid and prayed on him for the 3 rounds. And with that being said, after the fact, Brock failed a drug test. And he did win the fight.
And he didn't get his money. By the way, he didn't get his money either.
And here's the thing. Mark, on the record, Mark is still seen as the loser. Nothing's done. Nothing was done. There was no contest with that fight. And on top of that, Mark Hunt said, okay, right off the bat, he cheated. He didn't win.
He should have had the winnings.
I should be getting that money. I should be getting that money. Nothing. No answer. The worst thing about, sometimes people say, what's worse than a bad answer? No answer. They just sat there like a bunch of morons like this, and that's it. Sorry. They didn't even give him a tough, well, that's the way things work. We're investigating. Nothing like that. And Mark Hunt is one of these guys.
He's a lifer.
Take his record away from it. Even the fights, whether he's won, lost, every fight that this guy had, he always had battles. And he never, what's one fight that he ever fought that you could say he went against a bad opponent or a mismatch opponent? Didn't happen. Krokop, Vanderlei, he's fought everyone. Mir, he's fought everybody.
Well, he doesn't back down from a fight.
Not at all.
He doesn't back down from a fight.
And at the same time, he's competitive. He's always been competitive. And I'm not saying it because he's one of my favorite fighters that I've always watched, and I'm not saying it because we share the same physique. But it's true though.
Is that why you like him?
Hey, I can smell my own from a mile away. Love the guy. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, it would be one of those weird things where it's like, you know what I mean? Okay, you just
I know what you mean.
You just make him a little Italian, put a little guinea in him. That's it. It's over. It's a shame.
It's a shame right now because I think the UFC, there is more negative coming out of what you're reading throughout these articles than positive. And I know Dana White is trying to make this a positive thing, but there's nothing positive that we're reading that is coming out. Even the fighters are claiming some unfortunate situations for their ex fights or their past fights that didn't come to a head. Dana White wants to make things happen not for the organization. He wants to make things happen for himself, and unfortunately, it's not helping. Now, I'm again Robert Whitaker, and there's a story coming out. I know. Obviously, everybody knows who Robert Whitaker is. He was the middleweight champion before he tore his ACL, and then he had to vacate his title because he was out for almost a year. So, and now there are stories coming out. I'm reading something with Colby Covington. I don't want to read that. There are stories. I don't want to read anything about that. Robert Whitaker hopes his bout with Darren Till can be at catchweight. Now, why is he trying to drop so much weight to fall to catchweight? Isn't catchweight at like 155? I mean, 160 or something like that?
It all depends on which way he's going with the catchweight.
I mean, he's
going down or he's going up, But when it comes down,
obviously, it looks like he's losing a lot of weight.
My thing is, catchweights are done usually when, and this is how catchweights first got started.
I'm sorry, 195. So he wants to gain 10 pounds.
So he's going to go up 10 pounds.
195. That's
now,
what he's saying right here.
Here's the thing: catchweights always came into fights as the backup plan when one of the fighters didn't make weight or something with medicals. They bring somebody in on short notice. They're not quite that weight, but they'll pass their medicals, and it kind of saves the fight card. That's where catchweights historically have always came in.
Chloe, by the way, I just want to cut it. Chloe, if you want to call the show, all you got to do, if you want to talk anything with MMA, 631-965-4990. Again, the number is 631-965-4990. We'll put you right through, and you could talk about whatever you want to talk about when it comes to boxing, MMA, or any combat sports. But go ahead. I'm sorry, Anthony.
No, it's okay. But it seems like catchweights now, they almost want weight classes, and I wouldn't be against this at all, even though I'm more of an MMA guy than a boxing guy. And I don't think that if it works in boxing in regards to the weight classes, I don't see why you couldn't do it in MMA. In some states and amateurs and such, they do this. Have smaller weight classes where there's smaller gaps, because everybody wants a damn catch weight, so you might as well have a 195, 185, 195, 205. It makes sense if it's going to sell more divisions, give you more championships, give you more fights. It's something that you could bank on. Why do you have to make it something that it doesn't help your ranking in your record either way if it's a catch weight? Because it's not a middleweight record, and it's not a light heavyweight record. So, what the hell's the purpose of this? I don't know. If he's going to go up 10, he might as well just go up to 205. Oh, 205 is too heavy for me? Then go down to 185. Oh, 185 is too much for me? Buddy, I didn't make the rules. Go someplace else and fight. What the hell you want to say? They lay it out for you. The catch weight is getting way too ridiculous. If you can't make the weight, don't fight in that class. Go up. It makes more sense to be heavier and stronger than to destroy yourself and kill yourself.
Ask Connor about that. Connor has said it over and over again that every time he drops to 155, 150, he drains himself.
How about when you would see the fights? The weight cutting YouTube's sessions that Cyborg used to have.
Throwing up, dehydrating himself.
Crying with towels on her. Yeah. I mean, in pain in this. Come on.
They stick bikes in saunas. That's what they do. They ride their bikes in the sauna for 45 minutes. They come out, they rehydrate themselves a little, sip. They don't drink a full bottle of water. They sip a bottle of water, and then they go back in there for another 45 minutes, and they do, I think, they do it 3 or 4 times before
they do it as many times you got to do to get the weight off. And I've always said, I'm somebody who had to cut 30 pounds in 10 days for a fight.
It's crazy.
Did it suck? Absolutely, it sucks. But it's not natural. It's not natural, and you always end up.
You're hurting your body and killing yourself.
And you're killing yourself slowly, and it will have long-term effects.
Absolutely.
You could live without food for so many days. You can't live without water. That tells you something. If the one piece of resource of life you're stripping out of your body like that to that extreme.
It's really, really scary. And that's why I think the UFC is trying to find ways. And I think with Whitaker is one of the best fighters right now in the UFC. When he is healthy, he's a great fighter to watch. The guy is a warrior, very well spoken. Yes, he doesn't talk. He doesn't take shots at anybody when he fights them. He just, he goes out there and he puts on a war. And that's what's great about watching. And I've said that about Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva for years. Yes, he'll say a little thing here and there. He'll say he's going to win the fight. Absolutely. You don't hear Anderson Silva talk crap about somebody.
He does that stupid stuff inside the cage.
Yes, he does his little spider. His little spider move, Yeah, well, but that's Conor McGregor likes to do that stupid, whatever the hell he calls that walk.
That's a Vince McMahon walk.
Oh, whatever it is. It's a stupid walk. That just shows you how much WWE wrestling I watch.
No, I'm just saying it.
Is it really? I didn't even know. I didn't even know it was Vince McMahon.
That's
walk.
a Vince.
I didn't even know. You see, I thought he just calls it the Conor walk or something.
He probably did, but he stole it from Vince McMahon.
Well, obviously, but I think that when you look at the UFC right now, there are a lot more negatives than there are positives. And as a fan of mixed martial arts, and everybody that listens to this show and watches this show strategically, and that love what we talk about on this show, we're not bullshitting you guys. And I'm going to say it. I shouldn't be cursing on the show, but this is facts. We're not lying to you. We're telling you the truth. And where mixed martial arts is going, and you are a huge MMA fan, it's not in a good it's not in a good place right now.
No.
It really isn't. And for you guys to fight with me and say, well, boxing's not in a good place. Here's the thing. Have you heard anything from boxing in the last couple of months? You haven't. You haven't heard anything from Oscar De La Hoya. You haven't heard anything from any of the top promoters with boxing, the WBA or the WBO. You haven't heard anything from any of those organizations. Why?
Because if they're not going to do it right, they're not going to do it at all.
At all. And this is, to me, the prime factor of what we're seeing and what we're talking about. That's prize fighting. And we haven't seen boxing. We haven't seen a boxing fight in almost since the big fights, since the Wilder fight.
Fury and Wilder was
that
the last big one?
the last big fight. Yeah. So when you think about it that way, that was like 2.5 months ago. And unfortunately, where the UFC is going, when boxing does come back and they decide to come back, they've got so many great fighters right now moving up in the ranks. It's unbelievable. What does the UFC have right now? That's what I'm saying. And instead of trying to push this garbage, this is what Dana should be doing. You don't believe in this pandemic? You think that this is a joke? Because obviously he thinks that this is, he thinks that he's going to put on an event, even though this pandemic is out there, because he's trying to sell a product and he wants to be the first product out there in sports and professional sports. And that's great. Why don't you go around? There are still people training right now. There are people training. Why aren't you start a show like with your boyfriend, Matt Serra? With your boyfriend, Matt Serra, and go out there and find fighters. Because I'll tell you this right now, the garbage that we're watching in the next 3 cards that we're watching, and let's be honest, and you know this, Anthony, and don't beat around the bush because you know it's the truth. These next 3 cards are horrendous.
Oh, I know that.
They're horrendous.
I know that.
There's nothing on those cards. There are a couple of good fights. Yeah, you can, prime time-wise, you can say, okay, I could see that on ESPN. No pay-per-view. I see that on ESPN.
If you did a free fight, like I said, if you did a free fight similar to what boxing did, and they have 3-4 fights instead of 3 nights of fights, 3-4 fights on a free, first off, there's less people in that area. We're not talking about spectators. Spectators is one thing. There are people backstage. There are people in the locker room. There are people all over the place. You know what I mean? There's a lot of social contact problems when you have 3 events, same arena. What did we say? You have 100 fighters. 100 fighters in that damn arena. Not to mention their entourage. 3 corners. 4 corners.
It's like 7, 8 guys.
So when everybody talks about that what was it? The limit was 50 people in a venue?
Yes, 50 people.
And that's before it even got worse. That was what it was when the UFC did have that last fight card.
You did hear what's going on, that the president says when he does allow sports to come back and commissioners, that he wants that the stadiums can't be more than, I think he said, under 50% full. That's what I'm hearing.
So basically they're spacing everything out.
Spacing everything out.
So if I have a seat, your seat's
probably be double. Probably be double. I mean, just think about it this
Why?
way.
Because I'm that big? Is that what you're
No,
saying?
it would probably be double the price.
Well,
That's what I'm
screwing
saying.
with
I
you.
know
I gotta
what you're
screw
saying.
with you a little bit.
It's probably going to be double the price to get those tickets because they're going to try to implement it from what we see. You know, if the tickets are usually $150 to go and watch a UFC fight,
and that's the sad thing.
it's going to cost $400 or $500 to go and see a fight.
And that's the sad thing when it comes to things like the UFC. But there's also, since this is an MMA show, there is an amateur side of this where people have been dying to get their fights in and promoters have been dying to get their events going. And the gyms have been dying to get their fighters training. And we always keep going back to this, but it's a reality. A lot of these gyms are suffering, and this is their livelihood. This is their livelihood. You know, some people don't have these gyms as a side job to something else that they have a 9-to-5. It doesn't work that way. You have fighters that you see on Instagram where they're tying heavy bags to trees, beating the hell out of them, or in their basement. And we all know that's not the same thing as training in a gym. But then what happens when all of this gets cleared up? Are these events going to happen? Probably not. And I'm not saying it because I don't want to see it happen. I'm saying it because the reality of it is you're not going to – yeah, these fight cards were supposed to happen March we were supposed to have fights. Mm-hmm. You're not going to see those fights. You're not. Maybe you'll see half of those fighters on the card fighting someone else if it's possible. But
at this point, with what they're trying to put together, I'd rather watch somebody take a crap than watch some of these fights. I'm being serious. I am not going to pay, and I don't care what Jeff says.
But
you're going to pay in the
people
fight.
Don't have the money. If people haven't been working, who the hell has the money to spend $50 on a ticket?
Over 5 million people right now in the United States don't have jobs.
Right.
Don't have work.
When these fights are able to happen, even on these small venues, small professional venues even, where the average ticket price is, say, between $40, $50. Mm-hmm. And that's if you go alone. If you go alone.
Well, UFC events, they're a lot more expensive. You know
exactly.
That.
But I'm going at the bare minimum.
Yes.
So if you don't have money to spend $100 for you and somebody else to go to a smaller event, what the hell is going to happen with this? That's the reality of it.
The reality here is Dana White is spitting out a washed-up product right now, and Dana White is trying to find any possible way to make a buck. And by the way, Chi-Town, you want to know if there's any UFC fighters from Chicago? Bilal Muhammad, who is a 14-2 fighter right now in the UFC, very good welterweight. Juliana Pena, who is 8-3, UFC bantamweight. Clay Guido, who's old, and he's no longer in the UFC. He's 34-18. He's from Chicago, Illinois. And Ricardo Lamas, who is still in the UFC as a featherweight, 18-7. Manny Vasquez, who's 11-3 in a bantam flyweight. And Sultan Umar, who's a welterweight. His record in the UFC is 6-2.
That, and also you have Felice Herring, who's out there, little bulldog, Felice Herring, and Stipe. Mm-hmm.
Stipe, is he from Chicago? I think he's from Wisconsin.
No.
Stipe's from Wisconsin, I'm pretty sure.
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
Really?
You're going to Google it, aren't you?
I am going to Google it.
You don't believe me?
No, I don't.
You doubt me?
Yes, I do.
Errol, you doubt me?
For this one, I do.
Okay.
Stipe.
Maybe just outside?
He's the same age as me.
Not where he's born.
Ohio.
That's where he's born. Mm-hmm. Where does he live?
I don't know where he lives.
Well, you were saying I was wrong.
But he was born in Ohio.
Okay.
So
I was born in Brooklyn. Went to Jersey, and now live in Queens.
Ohio. He's from Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, okay. It's not Wisconsin.
No, but he's from
Close.
Cleveland. Yeah, he's from Cleveland. Actually, he's closer. Isn't he closer from Wisconsin? If I'm not mistaken.
Don't start. He's not closer to Wisconsin. Don't start.
Cleveland is closer to Wisconsin, isn't it?
For the love of Jesus.
Isn't it?
Speedy, do me a favor, Speedy, please.
Listen,
okay,
I'm tired.
Run some numbers here in terms of distance between Cleveland
guys.
and Wisconsin.
See this, Chi-Town? You see this? I'm trying to help you, and I'm taking shots. This guy's taking shots at me. I'm tired.
But Chi-Town, I'm actually trying to give Chi-Town the heavyweight champion of the world. You're trying to take him away and put him in Dairyland.
Cleveland.
Cheese
LeBron
boy.
lands.
What the hell?
LeBron lands. What's
on.
wrong with LeBron lands?
You said Wisconsin. Wisconsin is a huge-ass difference between Ohio. Anyway. Oh, for the love of God. Well, you want to know something? I don't even have the will to talk about Fight Island right now.
Why?
Because it's more about Dana White.
Well, it's always going to be about Dana White as long as the UFC has anything to do with it. It has everything to do with Dana White.
I mean, the same thing that you hate about Dana White, now we're doing it. We're giving Dana White more publicity.
Everything that we talk about on this show is Dana White and publicity. We're giving it. Hey, listen, you can stand up for Dana White. I'm not going to stand up for that idiot. That guy's a son of a bitch, okay? That guy is a piece of you-know-what.
Forget about Dana White. You know Mike Tyson's trying to come back?
Yeah, bare-knuckling.
Hey, listen, I'll pay that. And I'm not a big fan of bare-knuckling. Let's bring back Mike. Mike Tyson, man, the guy's like 85 years old. He moves great.
I think Mike is 52, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, he's closer to 85 than 52.
I think he's 52, 53, if I'm not mistaken.
I just wanted to see you Google it again.
I am, because I want to know.
57, I think?
I think he's 52, 53. I said 52, so
okay.
I was closer. I was closer.
It doesn't matter. I'll tell you right now. Mike
tattoo
Tyson
is scary, man.
Listen, Mike Tyson coming back. You want to talk about recycling names? I'd actually pay to see that.
Why is that?
It's Mike Tyson.
Yeah, it's Mike Tyson, but Mike Tyson's an old man.
But
It's
now
not
he's
the same
got
Mike
angry
Tyson.
old man strength.
I doubt it. He's
I'm
more of a
serious.
he's more of a comedian than anything. I'd rather laugh at him than watch him bare knuckle and go into a ring or go into an octagon.
So people will pay millions of dollars to see Floyd come back and do a
that's different.
rematch
That's
against
different.
Connor.
That's different.
And he's like 44 years old. But Mike Tyson coming back, you wouldn't pay for that.
First of all, I will definitely not pay to see Conor McGregor fight Floyd Mayweather again.
No.
I didn't pay for it the first
It
time.
was a
by the
con
way.
the first time. You're going to
Yeah,
con the second time.
nobody's paying for that, and I don't think that's ever going to happen. I don't think that's it. There's a better chance for Khabib fighting Floyd Mayweather in a boxing match than Conor fighting Floyd Mayweather again. I don't think that's happening. I really don't. I think Floyd versus Pacquiao, because as you know, Conor McGregor signed Manny Pacquiao, so he signed him to his promoting team. So which is very, very interesting. But Conor, I think that's Conor's plan to become a promoter when he retires, because there's a lot of money in it, as you could see with Oscar De La Hoya, as you could see with Floyd Mayweather. And believe it or not, Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor are very good friends. They're very good friends.
Well, they just worked together to get all that money fighting each other.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody thought that they were really adversaries through that whole deal,
No.
you're insane.
Yeah. They're good friends.
You saw how the fight ended.
Mm-hmm.
How did it end?
Well,
The referee stopped it.
Well, but the fight should have been over.
The referee stopped it.
Floyd Mayweather
Nobody lost it. Here's the thing.
He landed 3 shots in 4 rounds.
He got his big win. You know, he didn't knock McGregor down, so he didn't lose any face as, you know, an MMA champion or anything like that. So, I mean, come on. How much money did they make on that one?
$100 million for Conor. Floyd made $30 million just to wear his trunks. Somebody paid him $30 million to wear their trunks with all the promotion and whatever advertisement that he had on his trunks. He made $30 million just off that deal. I think Floyd came away, if I'm not mistaken, between $280 to $300 million in that fight. With promotion, ticket sales, pay-per-view sales, and all the endorsements that he got from it.
Those when they did the tour, that wasn't free.
No.
You had to pay an admission to get in there.
Yep.
So how much do you think they made extra just from that?
Well, I
do think that's included in the money that you were talking about?
I think that's included with the money that we were talking about. Floyd Mayweather made, I think it was close to $300 million.
Because they did the Barclays Center, right? They didn't do the Garden.
They did all the top states. They did L.A. They did Staples Center, I think they did. I think they did Madison Square Garden.
They did Wembley.
Barclay. They did Wembley.
Did they go to Toronto or Canada or something?
They did go to Toronto. Yes, they did.
There was like 5, right?
Yes, they went to 5 or 6 places, if I'm not mistaken.
And then they went to the Barclays. They didn't go to the Garden.
No, they didn't go to the Garden.
They went to the Barclays.
But they made a lot of money. And Floyd Mayweather made an extreme amount of money on that deal. And in all, I think Floyd Mayweather is trying to find more ways to bring in more money before he's done, and he's not going to get back into that ring. But I'd like to see him fight Canelo again. Because right now, I think he could be Canelo Alvarez again at 44 years old. I think Canelo Alvarez is one of the most overrated champions we've seen in the last century. So that's just my opinion. But again,
Chris Brown, I want to see McGregor in the WWE. Honestly, I'd kill to see him versus Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus before Sheamus retires. You want? I think a lot of people are actually surprised that that McGregor didn't make a jump to WWE or make a little stint.
I think he will. I think he will. When he is done with MMA, completely done, where he's never going to fight again, I do believe you will see Conor McGregor at pay-per-views with the WWE making money because Conor is all about money. And
Fury did. Mm-hmm. Fury did when they went. I think it was over to they went to Saudi Arabia, and surprisingly enough, Cain Velasquez.
So did Gronkowski. Rob Gronkowski.
Oh, that freaking guy!
He won a belt.
Let me watch what I say. Jeff might call. We don't have enough much time.
Rob Gronkowski. I mean, but the UFC. I understand what Conor is trying to do. He wants to make a statement in his career as a UFC fighter, so he wants to continue on, and I think he will fight at least 3 more fights. You will see Conor and Khabib absolutely part 2. That you will see. That will you
I
will
think
definitely
you'll see it
that
before you see Khabib and Ferguson.
Well, you're not going to see Khabib and Ferguson. I do believe you will see. I think you'll see. And Conor already said this before he's done. He wants to have a trilogy with Nate Diaz. He already said it.
Well, he only needs 1 more fight to go.
Yeah. So
That's
he already said that he wants that to happen. So that will happen. Nate Diaz, and you will see Khabib and Conor again. I think you will see probably 3, maybe 4 more fights in the next year and a half, 2 years with Conor, and Conor will be done.
And we understand, and that's the thing. We understand that it's a business, and the point of business is to make money.
Mm-hmm.
We're not taking that away from anybody. I'm not even taking that away from Dana White. My biggest thing is what you're doing and how you're doing it, and how you're doing it right now is not safe at the moment.
Well, Chi-Town is actually saying that he would love to see a Tiger versus Joe Exotic.
I don't know who the hell either of those people are.
You never seen the Tiger King?
I've heard people talking about it. I haven't seen it
You've
yet.
never seen the Tiger King?
Swear to God, no.
Oh my God! It's like
All
the
my
biggest.
life, I've never
It's
seen
the biggest documentary in history. It's the biggest watched documentary in history in the United States. And
I just got done
the
watching
Tiger
the
King.
last John Wick movie, so I'm way behind.
Oh man, I love the John Wick movies.
I just got
love them.
I'm way behind.
I can't wait until 4 comes out.
I'm way behind
Oh,
in this.
man. I love John
weird.
Wick.
Oh, that's the guy with the mullet, right?
Yes, the mullet.
The
blonde mullet, yes. The guy
blonde
that's in
mullet?
jail for 25 years or 22 years
So it's a true
for
story.
trying to kill somebody, yes.
That's a true story.
Oh, it's a true story, yeah.
Somebody was telling me it's not a true story. Somebody was telling me that.
No, it's a true story.
Oh, it is.
Oh, absolutely is, yes.
They were making it sound like it was like a parody of something.
No, it's a true story. And whoever told you that is an idiot, okay? Is it somebody that you know that you're really close with? Because if it is, I apologize, but you are an idiot.
No.
You are an idiot.
No. I'm trying to think who the hell's told me that. Obviously. It was something about, they were talking about how funny it was.
It was hilarious.
They say it's really, really funny.
If you want to see a bunch of rednecks and idiots act like complete morons, and all of them are absolutely, to me, animal abusers. All of them. They all make it seem like they're doing good for the animals. It's all about money to them. It's absolutely all about money. They don't give a crap about those animals, those tigers. It's absolutely horrendous. He had 250 tigers. 250 tigers at his park. Could you imagine that?
It's like sanctuary or a zoo.
Yeah, it was like, no, I don't know what the hell you call it.
Well, it's not his backyard.
Yes, it is. He owned the land, so it was his backyard.
See, now it's out of principle. I almost feel like I cannot watch it out of principle.
I think you should.
I can't.
I think you and your wife should watch it.
Chances are my wife probably already has.
I think it's hilarious, and I think you'll
My wife
die
is
laughing.
very big with documentaries. Me, on the other hand, I can't do it. Especially,
Remember,
it just looks. Come on.
Remember Nicole Ricci and what's her name again? The other one. I'm trying to remember. Oh my God, she's a DJ now. Her parent, the Hilton, Paris Hilton. Right. They had that TV show where they were working on.
Nicole Ricci and that when they went into the farm.
Yes, they were working on a farm, right?
Yeah.
And they tried to. They tried to make it funny, but it was really stupid.
So that's what this show is like.
No, this is
a reality show.
This is not a reality show. It's real. It's kind of like stupid like that, but it's funny because they're really the people in this documentary. They're really dumb. They're really dumb. Rednecks.
So wait, it's a movie.
No, it's a documentary. It's 8 episodes. It's a documentary.
So it's over now.
It's over, but you can go on Netflix and watch it. Yeah, you have Netflix, right?
I have my ways.
I'm sure you do.
I have my ways of watching things.
Yeah, so do we all. Jeff, I'm surprised you're not calling right now. Anthony is cheating.
That is one thing I don't do. Flat out.
Oh,
Nope.
by the way, Christopher Brown says Cain Velasquez just got released by the WWE, which we heard.
They released a ridiculous amount of people to WWE, and we're talking about top talent.
Yeah.
So it's not a surprise that he went too. I mean, he only had a couple of fights, but I mean, let's be real. What the hell was he doing in MMA?
Listen, Cain Velasquez was a great heavyweight champion. He was great.
He was okay.
Him and Del Santos, when they had wars together, those two guys.
Well, the first one was the first ever fight on Fox when he got knocked out by Dos Santos.
I remember that. I remember that. That was a kick, right? I think it was a kick, right? I think it was a kick.
No, I think it was a punch.
It was a punch? Because I remember
I believe he got him with like a left right behind the ear, and then from there he just jumped right on top of him. And then Kane was saying, "Oh, I had a problem with my knee" or something like that. And then if anybody remembers, just Google the post-fight pictures of the rematch. Oh, he got his belt back. He got his belt back
he
real
kicked the
fast.
crap out of Dos Santos. I remember that.
It was rough. Rough to watch.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for our show. It's 8:03, so the show is now over. As you guys know, we are live every other Friday. Remember, you can reach us by going to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Everybody, if you don't have our app, yes, we have an app. Go to Android, go to iOS, whatever you have. If you're on iOS, go to WWSRN, download the app. It's free, guys. It's free. You don't have to pay for anything. Go and download our app. If you have Android, go to your search bar in your Play Store and go to Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Our logo, it's in black. It's beautiful. Download the logo. And if you want to give us a review, it's great. Guys, if you want to keep in contact with us, you want to read all our stories, you want to listen to the clips of our shows, watch our shows live, you can go to our social media there. So you don't even have to go to our social media. All you got to do is download the app and you can go to everything. You can be linked to every single thing that we do now. It is great, guys. I'm telling you, it took a long time to get built and it was very expensive. So please, if you guys don't have it, download the app. I really appreciate it. We really appreciate it. And you'll be able to stay in contact of the things that we do. Every time we go live, it will ping on your phone, and you'll be able to go right to the app and watch us. So it's a great app, guys. And we're working more on it. We're adding more things to it. You're going to win some prizes. We're going to have some prizes on it. We're going to have some polls. We'll have some trivia games where you can actually go against some of our talent on the trivia and go into competitions with back and forth banter on trivia questions with me, Speedy, Ryan, Anthony, and Matty Caps, any of the guys that are part of our network. So stay tuned for that. Anyways, so iOS and Android, you can download our app. You can call us at 631-965-4990. And I'd like to thank Jeff for calling and really pissing me the F off.
He wasn't that bad today.
He's annoying.
He wasn't that bad today.
No, but I love him. I love Jeff because I'll give you this. Jeff knows what he's talking about.
Right.
As much as I can't stand him and he likes to take shots at me, Jeff knows what he's talking about.
I've heard some of the conversations that you and Jeff have had about
great
ridiculous
conversations.
things.
Yeah.
Okay, when you talk about ridiculous things.
By the way, you could buy Speedy's vibrator. Yes, Speedy's vibrator in stores near
almost
you.
made it through the show.
Yes.
Anyway,
Walmart.
But this
very
Jeff,
soon.
Jeff was not that bad today. He
The
really
Speedy
wasn't.
sensation.
The last 5 seconds he got you, that was it. He wasn't that bad today.
All right, whatever.
And I'm not saying it because it's Jeff.
Yes,
and
you are.
I'm not saying it. I'm
You
not
love him.
picking. I'm not picking sides.
You love him.
He wasn't that bad.
He's annoying. Anyways.
He wasn't that bad.
No, he's not that bad, but he's still annoying.
He's been worse.
Yes, he could. And yes, he has been.
And I don't know who the other guy that he talks about. Who's the other guy you're talking about?
Who?
It seems like there's a guy he doesn't like. What's that guy's name?
Oh, the Beef.
Yeah, who's that?
No, the Beef.
never-
Cowboy
I've
fan.
never spoken to him.
He's called the show
Not an
before.
MMA guy?
No, he's not an MMA guy, but he's a football fan.
Yeah, obviously, Jeff's a fan of him.
Well, Jeff doesn't like anybody, but that's just he likes Snug and he likes Mikey C.
Since you're a product guy, is there a way that we could get 2 Rock'em Sock'em robots in here? One with
Product?
Jeff with Jeff.
What's a product? What do you mean?
Like you like product. You like merchandise.
Yes, I do.
Like Speedy's merchandise. That's
Yes.
all I'm going with that.
Yeah, I like it.
Now,
yeah.
is there a way that we could get 2 Rock'em Sock'em robots, one with the Beef's face, one with Jeff's face, and just
would be
have them
great.
battle it out?
That would be great.
Especially if we get the Jeff hairstyle from that picture.
Actually, when we
something
get our
about
green
Mary
screen, we can actually put it on here and actually have a virtual Rock'em Sock'em with their faces.
Jeff,
on
I'm
it.
working for you right now, Jeff. I'm working for you. Beav, I don't know, but I'm working for you too right now. Anything, I'm telling you, this is something that I would be interested to see. It's like one of those computer fights that you saw in like the Rocky movies.
Oh yeah, Jeff versus the Beef. That would be interesting.
I mean, they obviously have a mutual respect for each other.
No, they don't. They can't stand each other.
Stretching, but
the Beef already told me if he actually flies down to Florida, he'll kill him.
Where's the Beef from?
He's from here. He's from Bayshore.
So then, isn't it easier to bring Jeff up here?
I don't think Jeff wants to come up here. He's from Boston, by the way. Oh, sorry. Now you don't like Jeff.
No, I didn't say that. Sorry.
Anyways, guys, we will be back in almost a week and a half. We will have, hopefully, some special guests. We were working on one of them this week, but it's obviously it fell through. Yes. But we will definitely have some special guests, UFC fighters, very, very soon. So stay tuned for that. I'll be working on it, too. So I want to get Frankie to call the show and to actually talk about, his UFC career and where he's heading moving forward as a fighter or as a family man. So I'm looking forward to getting Frankie on the show soon, too. So stay tuned for that. We will be back on Monday. Yes, me, Speedy Petey, and the Morning Boys will be back. Ryan Hickey will be back on Monday. There's a lot of big things happening, guys, and I will absolutely let you guys know what's going on as the weeks go by with this COVID-19. Everybody stay safe, take care of each other, and look out for each other. I know everybody thinks that this is a joke. This isn't a joke. So I did in the beginning, but I do not think this is a joke. But that's it for our show, Cage Gen MMA, and we'll have a new logo in about a week and a half. Nice logo, and you guys will love it. And we'll get shirts made and some hats made for the fans. Anthony, you have anything to say before we go?
No, just everybody stay, nothing other than what we've all been saying. Stay safe out there. I just hope everybody's doing well, especially some of the guys, the small businesses that we have, some of the guys that have always been supportive of me. Mm-hmm. Mike and Santo out there in Chicago, Hardcore Italian. These guys have put a lot of support behind the COVID-19, fundraising and such, which putting a lot of money behind selling these shirts to help out with what's going on over in Italy and such. And it's rough out there. Like I said, I keep talking about all of these gyms out there that are suffering. It's real. And it's sad, and hopefully when this all clears up,
we get back on track.
And you can't say, you can only say so much, in terms of that. We hope you're doing well.
By the way, Anthony has said about 16 million times
I'm bad
on
today,
the show.
Man. I'm tired, man. I'm tired today. I'm sweating over
I
here.
do know, Anthony. I do.
I'm sweating. It's bad. I'm tired. I started the I think when I spoke to you at like 8:30 this morning.
You did. But that's okay. We got a logo. You guys are going to love it. Stay tuned for that. It will be posted. You guys are going to love it. Anyways, until a week and a half from now and Monday, Down to the Wire, Below the Mic, we have a great show. We have a bunch of great shows lined up and great guests next week. Some people from the NFL Network as well. So if you guys like football, we have some people from the NFL Network. Speedy was telling you, and we're going to have some other special guests, so stay tuned for that. Until then, this is Errol Marks and Anthony Anderosi and Caged in MMA saying good night, and we'll talk to you then. Good night, everybody.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's time! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner.
Right there, hold on, right there. Boom, I faked him. Oh, whoa, whoa, I'm back.
But Mama Babo, how you say his name?
I'm gonna go home tonight. I'm gonna drink a Coors Light.
Fighting out of the red corner.
I completely dominated that fifth round. That fifth round want me to fight.
From the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
It's time!
The #1 MMA show in America. Caged in MMA.